And November 27th for this live stream. We're going out to, I don't know where we're going out to, YouTube and all those places. I'm going to open up here to get the status bar here on the dashboard. Just have that in a tab in the background. So it says the bit rate is in the yellow. Ooh. All right, there we go. We got people coming on now. So anyway, we're on tonight. We got Trevor and we got
Hello.
Vincent and Kurt joining us in the room
Hello.
today. I just thought we'd do like a fun. I don't really have a topic tonight. There's a little bit of news, but not a huge amount. So right now it's just for satellite news. There's been a few channels added to the one. I'll pull up the chart for you guys. Share screen. Oh, okay. There we go. And bring that up. There we go. So on 116.8 west, sometimes I call it 116 is also on some satellite receivers. I'll call it 117. Anyway, it's Eutelsat 117. This is the old Orbi TV satellite. So there's several channels here on the 11940 vertical transponder, and they've added AWE. I think I'll pull up the website here. It looks like it's like a specialty reality show, another show showing reality shows. I think you can watch it streaming online and whatnot. But it's on KU band, so it's good to see more new channels coming on KU band. I don't know. It just feels like the last few years we didn't have a whole lot of channels on KU band satellite. C band, lots of channels, but that means you need a large C band satellite dish like the one I got a picture of up there. So yeah, that's for satellite news. That's one new channel that I could report that's up there on KU band. It seems like there's a lot more channels coming up here on this Eutelsat 117. And another thing I've noticed is when you go to Orbi TV's website, they got the Orbi TV logo there. So I'm not trying to start any rumors, and I know in satellite TV there's always tons of rumors and stuff. But I know Orbi got bought by that other company. I forget the name of the company, but the cool thing about that, or the interesting thing about that, is there's a company that's been, and when you scan, it's not on the chart, but you can see all those basic cable channels encrypted on 117 West. Well, I said it wrong. 116.8 West. There's a ton of the channels that were there, so I'm wondering what's going on with that. Or are they going to or is somebody going to relaunch Orbi TV? Because the company that bought them, I don't know. But the cool thing, what I would like to see if they were to relaunch another satellite service, is have a whack of free satellite TV channels that are already here as part of your lineup. So I'll have like BYU TV and all these other channels. So if you decide to cut the bill, at least you can, with your receiver, you'd be able to get some of the free channels on there, just like how you would with your locals. And that's what Orbi did. Orbi would have advertised, you get your locals with a regular over-the-air antenna, but you get like all the premium cable channels that are the most popular cable channels, that are like subscribed to, that you'd be able to get a lot of that stuff. Hey, Vince. So we're joined by Vincent tonight. You got your own live stream or your own YouTube channel, Open Source Tonight. Is it called? Oh, your mic's muted there.
Is that a Yeti mic?
It's a Heil PR40 for the mic, actually. Yeah. As far as the Open Source Tonight, that is the channel. Thank you for the plug.
Oh yeah, no problem. I enjoy your work. You're very enthusiastic about open source and Linux stuff and radio and all sorts of cool stuff that a lot of people who are on this channel really like. So it's cool to have that. I'm gonna try to split the view here. Whoops, I went full screen. So Trevor, another problem I had. You told me about the that software. What was it called there that I got into to do the VNC, but it's not a VNC viewer. What was it called?
PerSec.
PerSec, yeah. So I put it on this computer. This computer, I have two screens, and what's happened ever since I ran it, it screwed up my resolution. So now I got like this screen here, not this screen, but this screen. It's like zoomed in just a touch, so I can't see like the Windows bar here, and I can't see all the bottom of the screen. So, and I tried to reset it, went into the settings and moved it back, but it I don't know what's going on. It's like another Windows issue that I'm living with because I've been using Linux for almost 10 years now, and I kind of moved away from Windows and didn't really bother using Windows at all. And so because I'm messing around with some software like the for the satellite stuff, this DVB Dream software, which doesn't even work right now. I had it all set up, and that's why I was going to do Windows tonight, because I was going to like show the channels on satellite using DVB Dream, but it's crapped out on me today.
That's interesting. I've been using PerSec. How long have we been using PerSec for? Like a couple of years, and we've never had an issue like that, have we, Vince?
I don't even know if it's a PerSec issue or maybe it was something else that went funky on me, but yeah.
I have had resolution switching issues on PerSec. I find that it doesn't do it most of the time, but every once in a while, you'll exit a session and it will switch, out of the PerSec session, but the resolution doesn't go back to where you expect it to be. But
yeah, I think that's what's happening. Did that happen in Windows or was it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the Windows side. So I remote into it from Linux, and then I have one Windows PC for video editing, and that's what I PerSec on. So yeah, that's
okay. Yeah,
the issue having on Windows.
So yeah, that's what happened here because it's a dual screen, and this is like my main video editing computer because that's how I like to have it. I have the timeline on this screen, and I have a full screen preview of my video on the other screen. And these are just not even really good screens. They're old TV monitors. They only put out like 720p resolution. They don't put out 1080. So they're not really even supposed to be computer monitors, but they're cheap TVs. So that's part of the problem too, and it's just caused a bug in Windows. So go ahead, Trevor.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Trevor.
I use monitors, so maybe that's why I never had that issue, and I never had that issue personally. So
yeah, I mean, I wish I could have two 1080p monitors for doing what I'm doing, but because I'm using old TV sets, I mean, these are like 10-year-old TVs that just they were like 32-inch the smaller TVs that are on my desk here. So it's they're big computer monitors, but they're not the most highest resolution computer monitors either. So yeah, so it's botched it. But when I booted back into Linux, it was just like how it always would be. It's just with Windows, for whatever reason, this screen. And even when I go to the recommended settings, here, I'll bring it up here on my display settings here. Bring it over.
Do you have an NVIDIA or AMD card in your computer?
Maybe that's it. It's
if you have NVIDIA, you can actually go into the NVIDIA control panel and adjust the overscan.
Oh, okay.
So that might be what's causing it.
So you're looking at my monitor here. So what happened here is, wait, make sure I got the right display here. I believe it's display 2 on this thing. And I had it on 1366 by 768. And I dropped it down to recommended, which is 1360 by 768, but it just both are like at the same resolution pretty much. Okay, well, maybe after this stream, I'll live with this for now. I won't mess around with it during the stream, but maybe I did look in the NVIDIA settings, which I believe are over here. Bring that up. The video control panel. So there, I got one in here, and I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Patrick, there. But the thing is, a lot of TVs, and especially older TVs, don't have an overscan TV. I know a situation that they have an old TV hooked up to a computer that does not have an overscan feature. So, so that's the only way you can adjust it through the control panel. Adjust display size and position, but I wouldn't mess with any of those settings because it might crash your stream.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to do that now. And I had this in Linux too, but I just didn't really mess around with it too much when I was playing around with it because I thought the weird thing is okay, it says NVIDIA, but when I put the a PSI card in my computer this week, it said it was an Asus card. So is it Asus or is it a NVIDIA card?
It's probably an Asus OEM. It's probably Asus. It's an Asus, like Benson's card. He has an Asus 1050 Ti, which is still NVIDIA.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay, I didn't
like,
know
because
that.
they have different OEMs. Like MSI makes one, Asus, Gigabyte. They all make their own variant of a particular GPU. So
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. And when I bought that, I didn't realize that. So I bought this computer secondhand. It was a refurb. I found off Facebook Marketplace.
Robbie, sounds like you're really going green. You're using old TVs and you're buying used equipment.
I'm always using used equipment, refurbished stuff. Well, my laptop crashed on me this week. Well, I had an Acer laptop. I bought that, and that was a refurbished laptop. It died on me. So it just like last Sunday, it died, and I had it for 2 years to the day. And it was an Acer Spin laptop, one of the ones that kind of flip into a tablet type of thing. I never used it for a tablet, but I use it for mainly as my main computer. So I bought this. I bought a Lenovo ThinkPad, and that I haven't put Linux on it yet. I'm gonna be doing that. I do my church. We do I live stream the service, so I need the computer while I'm there to send it off to YouTube. And it's a weird scenario because the person who's doing the graphics, like for the worship music and stuff like that, they're sitting at the computer and there's 3 screens, but I can't really control it. So I got this app on my phone for OBS. It's called, it's like a switcher. So I don't have to be at the computer. I can switch like the camera views. So it's Stream Control is the app I use on my phone. I don't know. It won't work here, but it's basically, there's what it kind of looks like. We'll just ask you what computer you want to log into. So what it will do is it'll pull up a switcher, and so I'm able to basically, I'm using one camera, but I can cut to what's on the projector, or I can also cut the projector so it's like imposed over the where the projector is on the main screen, because it's like a video camera on a projector, so you see the words and lettering more clear that way. So I'm kind of doing like a switching operation. Plus, it's a nightmare with the sound. I don't know much about sound, but I do know that when the speaker's talking, it's really quiet and there's a hiss, and I have to bring up the volume. And when the worship team is playing music, I have to turn it down because it will distort. So it's all going through a mixer, but I'm not actually controlling the mixer. All I'm doing is running OBS and trying to get the whole stream to work.
Sounds like quite an operation there.
Yeah. Well, it's doing it on the cheap, because we had one guy in wanting the church to spend like $5,000 for cameras and switchers. And I put it together with a camcorder like what I'm using here, which is like, it's very similar to this camcorder. And one of those $20 HDMI to USB devices, and plug that in. And we got we outputted the soundboard into the computer, and we were able to live stream that way. I'd love to have 2 cameras going, but it seems to be with OBS, whenever you plug in 2 cameras, it gets really flaky with 2 different cameras to try to do a multi-camera live stream. Because I'd like to have it where I could just cut to a tighter camera and have a wider camera. Just because I like that kind of technology. I always wanted to produce TV shows, and that's kind of a fun place where I can actually do that.
How long you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for a little over a month now, because with everything coming back, and because they were always doing services via Zoom, basically. And we have people back, but also not everyone wants to come back to church now. So it's like, so people are staying home, and they're just watching on YouTube. So we just stream it to YouTube, and they do a Zoom meeting afterwards.
Yeah. If I can make a suggestion, if you want something that you can plug into OBS, this is what I use. It's the A10 Mini. These are
Yeah.
$300 US, and then you get a USB Type C out. That looks like a webcam in OBS, and then you can just have that as your
Is that the
camera, if you will.
multi-camera? So that's
Yeah.
like multiple HDMI inputs. Yeah. Can you
There's
show
4
that again?
HDMI in.
Can you bring that? I'm gonna put that on the camera there just to
Okay.
get a view of that. So yeah, I saw something like that, and that's kind of the way to go. And we actually looked at a similar type device, and it can be network controlled too, eh?
It can, and I actually have built software that does that. So
Yeah. Oh, really? Can you control a pan tilt zoom camera with it too, or?
not natively, but send me the spec. I'm a developer for hire, so.
Okay, yeah. Because I discovered that in OBS. I do have a pan tilt zoom camera, and it was because I was doing it in Linux, and the camera was not a network camera; it was a USB pan tilt zoom camera. So I could control it in OBS, but I couldn't find an add-on where I can actually just have like a controller, a plugin that would allow me to control the pan tilt zoom camera, like just like a regular joystick controller. Instead of like it's a really like an OBS where you have to toggle the toggle to move the camera, the X and the Y, and it's a pain moving the camera that way.
I'd say so. Yeah. What you can do with the ATEMs, really the only issue I have with them is the Windows and Mac software doesn't work on Linux, at least not for me. So there is some open source stuff, but depending on what you want it to do, you can use the front panel to do basic switching. That's why I was recommending it to you, because I thought, well, based on what you're saying, you'd use OBS probably for the graphics, and then you could just use this for camera 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Yes, that's probably the route where I might want to go, is just plug the cameras into that, and then have that as a. But as I say, we're doing that at $0 for a church where the congregations left because of COVID, right? And it's just they're just not going, so like donations are way down and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was about to say, get your donations up. That sounds like what you need to do if you're gonna get one of those.
If you're gonna stay home, send money for the $300 switcher. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Send it to PayPal for the church or something. Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I might bring that up because it is. See, what I was trying to do initially is just have it up there and show how much with $0 how much they can use it, and how and do as best I possibly could, and so I think people are impressed with what we got going on now. So I think it might end up get to the point where we're going to invest the money on it and then get one of those things, because I think that would be a very cheap solution. But it would be spending a little bit of money, but it would be enough that it wouldn't be $5,000 for a whole multimedia, multi-camera studio setup.
Yeah.
And I still use the same computer, which is good.
Yeah, I think $5,000 for that sounds pretty expensive. I mean, you can go out, like you said, and get like the cheap camcorders that are out here now that can output clean HDMI, and you plug 4 of them into the switcher. It will take computers too, so you could have a computer plugged into it for the the projector video and have 3 cameras. There's a bunch of things you can do with it. I've been using it for about a year.
For the projector video, I just simply use OBS. Like you just
screen cap it.
You screen cap it, exactly, and so that's very easily done. And then just for anything else, basically it's the screen capture, and also because there's a projection screen and it looks awful, you can't see it. So I just copy and paste that onto where the projector is, so it looks clearer. It looks a little cheesy, but it works.
I got you. Yeah, it seems to me like that would be a good use for some kind of like a lower third graphic or something. But like you said, the church is trying to keep the budget to 0 or very close to it, right?
Just keeping it low at this point. Yeah. I mean, I think what we're going to do is eventually, we're going to build it from where we're at. It's just, I need to get people trained to do it, because that's why I was looking for, what was that? I keep forgetting it now. My mind's short on me. The VNC. I got to call it VNC software, because it's going to be a Linux system, because the oh gosh, there it is. Parsec. For Parsec, because if I'm not able to be there someday, at least I can remote in and at least get the stream on the go. Because what can happen sometimes with YouTube is that the stream key will change on you all of a sudden, and you need to get in there and get that fixed right away, because you go live and wait, there's a problem. What's going on here?
It's definitely annoying when that happens.
It is. I did a whole OST live stream that was an hour long once to myself because it said it was streaming, but I didn't click the go live button in the stream control panel of YouTube. It was bad.
Jay Roy says the church is on free satellite TV. Not mine, but there is a lot of churches on there. And that's I guess that's where shortwave radio, when you got WBCQ and WWCR, they're the organizations that have the money to buy the airtime in a lot of cases. So like you see that happening. I'm surprised there's not more access channels for just about anything where people would pay enough money to be on TV. I think there used to be channels like that, but I think it's because YouTube and putting your videos online is so much cheaper. Like it costs nothing, right? Instead of spending thousands of dollars, you just send out a link, and it's easier for people to get it. So maybe that's why it's killed that part of the satellite industry. Because my church actually does have a free satellite TV Galaxy 19 dish on the roof, because they used to do this is like back probably early 2000s, before we really had all the streaming stuff and the YouTube and all that. So there a lot more people were using KU band for that type of stuff.
So your church used to be on K band then, or you were receiving?
No, they had a KU band dish to receive conferences. So they would they would live. A lot of churches would live into them. I'm not Seventh-day Adventist, but I know the Seventh-day Adventist church, for example, they have for the Amazing Facts stuff, they would always have Doug Batchelor satellited in, and they would have services like that. This is how that sort of stuff would work. And that's kind of where Galaxy 19 has become. It's become a very there's a lot of religious channels that are on Galaxy 19. Although from when I look at what's happened over on 116 West, if I could show this, I think a good chunk of these channels are religious channels: Revival TV, NRB, God TV, CBN News, CBN Family Inspiration. But there is the Hunt channel and Heartland East. And got to plug out there for Heartland. It has Red Green on Tuesdays and Thursday night, so at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
That right there is worth getting free to air.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be like a red green skit just to set up a free satellite TV dish. So yeah,
that does sound like something he would have done.
He does have a video where he sets up a satellite dish, and I think it's like, I don't know, it's an awful looking homemade thing or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So we got some.
I caved. I got the video going.
You got the video going there. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but my camera keeps shutting off randomly. I don't know what's going on.
Uh-oh.
All right, time to jump ship to fully Linux.
Yeah, I think next week I will be. As I say, to help people out with knowing a little bit of IT stuff, I've jumped back into Windows. But it's been a rabbit hole after rabbit hole for me. I feel like I'm playing. I'm gonna grab this joystick as the Atari 2600 game ET. And where you constantly fall into holes. That's what it feels like right now.
Well, you could always make an image and then try to go to Windows 11.
Yeah, there's a.
See, the thing is, Windows 11 was working fine for me, but in the past week, it's been causing weird issues. So it was working fine for me from the beginning, like back in beta. And now it's causing weird issues. So I don't know what's about there.
Well, with my computer, it says it's not even supporting Windows 11 yet. Then when I did an update, your computer is not ready or not being serviced for Windows 11 is what it said. And I just bought it, but also it's an older model. It's an old new stock. So it was I think it was built in 2018 or 2017. And now, being a Linux user, I don't care. I'm going to buy a cheap, older computer because it will run what I needed to do,
Yeah.
I've done that for years. I was always getting refurbished computers. The computer I used for years had no working keyboard, so a laptop. So I just plugged this USB keyboard into it, and that was my computer for years. It was an i3 processor, so it was fast enough for doing most of the stuff. I even did video editing on it.
Well, there are so many older computers out there that if speed is an issue, you can, a lot of times a solid state drive will be enough to get it going for most people. I mean, I'm sure that there's people that run demanding things, and if they mention the G word, games, then that's a whole nother ball of wax. Or if they do video processing, depending on what type of video processing they do, then you
you need the higher end stuff for that. But even now, if we're going to go into like streaming, streaming your games where it's the servers doing all the processors, you just need a Chromebook to do that. So
yeah, there isn't really a way to do that with video editing yet. The closest I've seen is Avid has something that kind of lets you barely do something.
Used to have their video editor that was, I guess, better, but I really never got into the YouTube video editor.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid to use it. I'm afraid I'm going to ruin some of my YouTube videos trying to play around with it, where it might cut the whole wrong part off or something like that.
I'm going to have to look into that. Someone just said Windows has expired certificates. I'm going to look into that. I haven't heard of that.
There, as far as like the Windows, or not the Windows, the YouTube editing software, if you will, web app, I've used it before. It's going to be hard to sell me. I really want a DaVinci Resolve or like a real, thing that's it's going to use a computer, but I can still buy junk for everything else, and I do. I've got to use ThinkPad, and I use ThinkCenter.
So do you use DaVinci on your Windows machine that you do your editing on?
I do. I use DaVinci.
Okay, yeah. I'm purely using Kdenlive, and I'm very happy with it. I don't even like the updates to it. I'm using the old version from 5 years ago, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I've actually heard that from someone else too in the Linux community. They were telling me, they said, "Oh, I edit all my videos in Kdenlive from like 2017." I'm like, okay. I've used Kdenlive before. It's okay. I don't really hate it, but at the same time, I just really like what DaVinci has, and I really like the editing process.
Yeah, when you get used to something and you're used to using that, like I'm used to Kdenlive. I don't really want to move to DaVinci because it's a little bit different, right? Yeah. Or move to Olive. I've used Olive for a little bit, and I like Olive. The way it works, but I'm so used to Kdenlive. It's just hard for me to switch until I have to, I guess.
Yeah, it's a workflow thing. I actually used to use Kdenlive. I'm a little more willing to tolerate pain than some people, but at this point, I'm probably going to stay on DaVinci for probably a long time. I mean, I literally bought some of their hardware, so at this point, I've got stuff that won't even work for anything else. So I guess it's time to stick around.
Media Composer for editing. That's one of the older ones. I saw some of the stuff he was doing there, and he's just done a full-length feature film, French film, on that. Hey Patrick, if you have a link to that, the trailer, if you want to share it on the chat there, we'd like to we'll save that for later.
Yeah, I'd like to see it myself. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And, Avid Media Composer, though, that's what they're referring to, as far as I know. That's like the industry standard of this day, So
yeah, that's like the older professional level one. Yeah,
I don't really care for it. To me, it's a little bit too picky. But some people really like it, so teachers their own.
Yeah, I think with a lot of people, they got in video editing like 10, 15 years ago, and they're used to that. That gets their workflow, right? It's on that. So, oh yeah, Patrick's gonna get the link for that. I saw that. It looks, and what I like about it, seeing some of the characters in the preview. If you ever been to Quebec, the people there, like you see they're wearing professional wrestling T-shirts and stuff like that. So it looks like it's like a horror movie kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what Patrick worked on with his editing. Will we be able to see that online, Patrick, somehow, or maybe we'll get to watch it with subtitles at some point?
I hope there's subtitles, because I don't speak French really at all. So that would be...
Yeah.
My daughter does. She's doing French immersion, so she's really fluent in it now. So, but I don't know if it's an appropriate movie for my 8-year-old to watch.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows? I was gonna say if it was, she could be a good translator, right? You sit there with her if there's no
See the
subtitles
camera.
and say, "Tell me what's going on."
I'm trying to get this adjusted there, Kurt. I'm just gonna bring it down, Kurt, until we get get you back up there. I know you're fixing your camera or something. And Trevor's gone.
Technical difficulties, everyone.
He's had technical difficulties too. That's another thing I need to make for my live stream is to have a technical, because in case the camera were to crash in OBS, I need to have like a technical difficulties slide up, because I think the audio will still go out. It just might be the camera might die on me because it's OBS, right? And that happens in OBS. Even under Windows. It's funny how OBS in Windows and in Linux, you can't do two cameras. So I plug this camera in. This is like a little, it's almost like a pan tilt zoom camera. It's a wide angle lens camera, and it will but it won't work with this camera. So I plug the USB dongle in here and this camera. Usually this one will cancel out this camera and it won't work.
Who knows what it is?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a driver issue or it just can't handle it. I don't know. And then, well, with OBS, sometimes what I have to do is the camera won't work. It'll be set up, but I'll have to restart OBS, relaunch it, and then it will work. And it works for hours. It's weird how that program works.
I haven't really had many issues with OBS. The biggest thing for me is, as somebody like you that likes the pro stuff, I'm into that kind of stuff. And like, you get used to a switcher like this, where you've got, some of the fancy bells and whistles that OBS does in a different way, talking about workflow, right? Oh, you can do that, but you have to click 10 buttons and, on a professional switcher, you press 1, that's kind of a
is the web interface easy to use on that, or can you just control it with a smartphone?
So there isn't a web interface for this. They do have an API for developers, and I actually built a really simple thing that actually exposes a web interface. It's not a real web interface. It's an API that a web interface could build on. A web UI user interface API, if you will. But there is mobile apps for it, and there's desktop apps. There's one I seen on GitHub a while back. It's a Qt app that will work on Linux that will actually talk to this thing. And I actually tried it with mine. It does work, but it hasn't been updated in a few years, and you have to compile it. So, there's that. Doesn't support all the features, and you have to compile it. So, but if you get it working, it does work. So,
got Yelling Creature joining us in the stream. I wonder if we're going to be rickrolled again here.
Uh-oh.
It did happen one night.
That happened twice to you, didn't it? Or was it just one?
Just once. The guy who did that, there's a video of it on YouTube where he rickrolled us.
Uh-oh. Well, jokes on them, because I like Rick Astley's music, so I'll just be doing this.
I've actually, after that happened, that's my ringtone on my phone now. It's
Rick Astley.
Yeah.
Never gonna give you up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
Patrick says he's not joining us in the chat today, but 233-minute long for his movie that he edited. Just presented it, the first version. It's correcting. I'm correcting it now and mastering the Blu-ray afterward. So yeah, I mean, a movie that length, I imagine it gets cut down a little bit too, for I guess independent films too. Although you get a full director's cut on the Blu-ray. I haven't really watched movies in the longest time. I'm watching YouTube more now. Like I don't even watch movies. Like I'm on YouTube or I'm just watching either old sitcoms or wrestling. And even wrestling, I'm just sort of, when I have it on, I'm like on YouTube while wrestling's on.
YouTube is really great. I spend a lot of my time on YouTube, and what I don't spend there, I usually end up being either on Netflix or Hulu. I like some of their originals and such, but that's about it. I'd say probably like 70% of my time viewing wise media is probably YouTube. So I feel like there's this perception in the independent film space, which I'm working on getting into, that oh, YouTube isn't real film, but it's like, I don't know about that. I've seen some pretty good stuff on YouTube, you know.
I saw the and some movies that become like they're like kind of put out there, and then they become movies like Kong Fury. You know, like they put that out there. It's like a 17-minute movie, but 0711 that says I'm fan of your old videos from of having fun in a small town. Remember in the mid-90s, my small town, all the innocent and fun we had. That's kind of a reference to my earlier videos that I used to do when I first did YouTube, because like I used to do comedy skits and stuff like that, or just fun, crazy stuff with a video camera. Thank you. He was waiting for that. Maybe it took him that long to get the bagpipes out.
Or maybe they had the CD player.
He was gonna play Never Gonna Let You Down on the bagpipes.
Oh, I didn't recognize that tune on the bagpipes for a second. Yeah, that's
that's the thing about having public chat. You never know who's going to join and just anybody. But luckily, you just got to always have your finger on that kick button. So
they're still there. I don't know if they're still going. It's mainly just for the YouTube and Twitch copyright, thing. That's what I'm scared about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful. That's for sure.
Yeah, copyright's a complicated subject.
Yeah, like I wish I could go out and just use music and have that license and all that. Well, even I'll give you an example of what I've noticed with my church service. They would play a worship song, and we got like a copyright warning because we played a song. It wasn't even the name of the song, but it sounded like a melody from another song. And so it said that we can't monetize this video because of that. I'm like, well, we're not, as a church, we're not going to monetize the video, but it just gave us that warning, right? And it gave me the option to dispute it, but I was like, I'm not going to bother wasting any time disputing it. But
one thing that I did, I uploaded a video of, I did a bit of a B-roll type thing of one of the local, I don't know if you call it B-roll, but one of the local parks here. And I had our national, like not the Canadian anthem, but my anthem for my province on it, and content ID match. And I was not pleased because they content ID matched a song that means a lot to my province. So I disputed it, and within a week they removed it. So.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of disputing it to be able to.
Hello, Patrick. Haven't seen you in a while.
Patrick, from the land of Quebec.
Yeah,
hey, Patrick,
I'm much of a talker tonight.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you, do you want my old Roku TV that has the T-bar? You think you could fix it?
Can fix a lot of things, but I'm not sure about that.
Oh, yeah.
So, did you fix your TV, by the way?
No, I just bought a new one. I decided I didn't want to buy another T-bar board and then it not be the issue. So I said, I'll just buy another TV. And I still have it sitting here. I don't know if I should just chuck it out or try to fix it, right? Because like I don't want to throw it out, but it's because it's not working properly. I don't know what else to do, right?
Yeah,
I gotta throw it in the electronics recycling, just like my Acer computer, which I used to be a big fan of the Acer brand. I was like, yeah, I had Acers that lasted me 10 years, and now I've had an Acer that's lasted me 2 years, and now I'm like, I'm not so happy about the Acer brand anymore.
There's a new laptop which Linus is making some fuss about it that is quite usable, and you can repair it also. I don't know the new
System
what's
76.
the name of this? Yeah, maybe this. It's kind of
Framework.
Laptop. Huh?
Framework is the name of the laptop you're talking. Framework.
Framework. Yeah.
Electrical Tape joining us over on. Oh, I can't show it. There's this. I thought it was kind of cool here in the chat room because I have a D Live chat and they posted a GIF. in the chat, but I can't show it onto the screen because copyright probably anyway. But here we got electrical tape from viewing us from D Live. I have this stream going everywhere. We're on D Live. We're on Facebook. We're on, I don't know what else, Twitch, a bunch of them.
What's your most popular platform?
YouTube, but Facebook's another one, and another thing I'm starting to find is pretty big because I moderate like a group on Facebook and a bunch of other social media platforms, but Discord is probably like the distant third for everything else. So it's like I'd like to see more people use Discord, and I keep saying this, Vincent, is like you got to get your parents and your grandparents using Discord instead of Facebook, and that's how you'll bring down Facebook, because that's my main reason why I'm on Facebook is like because I got my family on there. You know, I call my mother on Facebook Messenger, but like if she was using Discord, really there would be not much use for Facebook.
Yeah. I don't really care for Facebook either, and that's the main reason that I'm on there. Is that you got friends and family that you care about, and some of them that's the only place that they'll talk to you. So it's like, well, Facebook or no communication. You know, kind of a tough decision.
I do know other families that use Telegram. I haven't got a Telegram account yet, but I found that more people in this community are on Discord. So I'm just going to stick with that for now. And I got so many things to chase. I had my phone beeping. I'm like, which thing's beeping now? Is it Discord? Is it Facebook? Is it a comment on YouTube or something?
What you should do is set different notification sounds for your apps, like I have.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's possible.
I do.
Oh,
yes. It is possible. This Samsung phone though, it's kind of weird because it was buried in the settings, right? My old Android phone had that, but this one, like I wanted to have a specific ringtone for different friends and be like work, you know, when my boss calls me, I can have the Imperial March play and things like that. He'd like that too.
But you cannot do that on an old Android phone, isn't it? You cannot change the ringtone for every application.
I was able to change my ringtone for the older Android. Hey, Kurt, you're back up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I fixed my camera. I'll switch back to the other camera. I see it's just black. Oh, actually, maybe I'll just change a setting and fix it.
Yeah, Discord, or not Discord, but Restream, there's usually a setting. There's the settings where you can select your camera. And
oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah,
Are you using a phone or a computer?
I'm using a computer, and I just switched. I found while I was looking for my glasses, my desk glasses, I just found my other camera I was using before, which is a Logitech high def camera. I forgot the model number.
Logitech. They still make cameras, Logitech? They were like the original webcam.
That's actually what I'm
using. I got the Logitech headset. I got the Logitech camera.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have my Logitech camera from like maybe more than 15 years ago. And I wouldn't use it for this thing though. The quality on it would be awful.
Oh, is it like one of the ball cameras?
It's one of the
can use those
cameras, yeah.
Those
yeah.
Yeah. Patrick has one right there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was thinking the white one.
Look like,
yeah.
Those old ones look like crap, but they work.
Vincent has one that's out of focus.
Yeah. Sorry, it's attached to my computer because I use it as a backup if this camera fails. I can't get the cable to reach. But yeah, I got one too.
Vince, your camera is quite great. You look like Bill Hicks on this.
This is the camera I was using. This is the other Logitech camera. The one that's better. The one I have now is the high def camera.
Oh. That's the kind. Yes. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Those cameras are the equivalent of what I was using back then in the 90s.
Yeah, I've got this 970, and that's the one Trevor has. Me and Trevor found out we both had that same one, and then I had a C910 or C920. I don't like the C920, but and I don't really care for webcams that much either. I'd rather use a big
this is the
camera.
This is the C910. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I do remember seeing it in my setup. Yeah, it's the C910. the one I'm
Yeah.
using right now.
I think mine's a C270. I think C270. Not that it matters, but I mean, I can't really show it to you. This is what I'm currently using, but
Well, Robbie, can't you just send a camera crew
And
over there real
on my
fast?
side,
We're kind of
Yeah,
we're
right.
all like kind of very
on my
spread
side,
out.
it's quite
We
easy
got
to understand. I'm
we got
using a
see.
phone.
3 Canadians and 2 Americans in here. And happy Thanksgiving, happy American Thanksgiving, guys. I don't
That's right.
know
Yours is
if
on a
they're
Monday or something, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something like
earlier.
that.
Oh, it was a month. It was in October or before October. No, it's October, early October.
October.
I can't remember it now. Time's flown by so much. Yeah, we call it Canadian Thanksgiving, and then we call American Thanksgiving American Thanksgiving.
Mostly.
But yet we still have Black Friday sales after the American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Even though I never found any good deals this year that I was
there's
interested in.
Oh, you're not alone. They mentioned that on the news tonight on NBC News. Oh, and I'll give you my TV story. The ONN TV from Walmart, the 70-inch, is $399, and someone mentioned it in the chat. They know some people that bought some. And the one I bought last year on November 4th, I bought an ONN 65-inch for $229, and I looked at it and I'm like, I'm never going to see that deal again. So I went and grabbed it. Not that I needed it, because my 55-inch Sharp was still running fine from 2017, I believe. But I'm like, the ONN
I wonder if you
65
can
I
use
have
those
is
TV with a computer. I just wonder if you can use those TV with a computer, because at that price, I'm not sure the quality is great.
yeah, it's
It
a
would basically
4K,
be like what I'm using here. It would be like.
but I don't have a 4K
You could have a
card.
big, but maybe it wouldn't be the greatest. But
Well, see, the thing about these 4K TVs, even though they are claimed to be 4K, some of them are, depending on the brand, the cheaper ones, and some of them can accept 4K, but the screen's only 1080p. So, like the ones that I know about, TCL, for exple, they have an actual 4K screen on their 4K TVs.
Yeah.
But some other brands, like RCA, they sell a 1080p TV, but it only has a 720p screen.
Yeah,
not the original RCA. I'm talking about the new crap we have now.
And that's a problem I've noticed with some of the newer satellite receivers. If you buy them, the default setting could be on 4K. So if you plug it into an older TV, you're going to get not supported, and you're not going to see what's going on there. So I think it's been with the Amiko and with the Edision receivers. I've had them where they're set to like 4K, and then I plugged them in, and I didn't have a 4K TV, so I couldn't set it up, and I didn't care about 4K. Because what I wanted to be able to do on satellite TV is just be able to receive the 4K channel, because I knew that sometimes there'll be like a 4K channel that will be in the clear because it's new. And when they launch satellite channels, they usually have them in the clear for a while before they start encrypting them. It's usually to promote the channel or to get their, they're getting new affiliates, so they don't want to have to send them all the decryption, the encrypted encoders and all that. So they just start running in the clear, and it makes it easier for the transition period.
Someday I have to buy another satellite receiver, because the ones on 116.9, they're all 265H. Is that correct?
Yeah. H.265. Yeah.
H.265s. Yeah.
And it's just like it's something about that satellite, because I was the old Orbi TV satellite, and all the Orbi TV channels were H.265. That's how they were able to fit 40 channels on one transponder, and the quality was not the greatest, but they did manage to do that. But you want to compare that to streaming services. A lot of the streaming services, they're sending the video out H.264, H.265, and the bit rate is very low for streaming video.
You don't need much bandwidth on if you're just doing 720 or standard definition. It's the weight is almost nothing. If I do remember, when I'm downloading stuff, I should not. It weighs a 42-minute television show will wait about 120 megabytes only on 264.
Yeah. And I think it would cost, the uplink charge would cost to have a channel like that. The monthly it would be less than $5,000, or be around $5,000 to have a 720p channel using the H.265. So for someone putting a channel on satellite, it would be probably the way to go, because you could have 720p quality for like basically a standard definition channel cost. And
Isn't it what M4 is doing actually?
No, they're H.264.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're H.264 and they're 720p, but they're 60 frames per second.
See? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
They cannot do otherwise, I think. I think with 720p you cannot do a 30p or something else in broadcasting. The 720, the HD standard for 720p is actually 60 frame per second. Yes, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
my streams are
you need
probably
much
720p, and they're 30 frames per second for OBS settings.
I may be wrong on that 60 standard, but what I will say from what I've heard from broadcasters and such in the past, different things like that, just kind of rumors, this isn't like official or anything, is you do 60 so you can show soap operas, 30 so you can show news, 24 so you can show films, because all those will go into 60. Except for 24 won't go perfectly even, but it comes close.
Oh,
right. So that's the
maybe not the 23. I don't.
No, it won't go in. It won't go in completely, but it will. Yeah. You can drop half a frame every once in a while or something.
The 24p is more. It's much more suitable for 60i actually, with the 40 pull down.
Oh yeah.
Than 60p, because actually the movie I did is 60p, and I have inside of it I have some 60i. So I did have some special or some finicky conversion I did on the Avid for it, and it worked well if you still show the movie at the actual resolution it was made. If not, still have some problems. So it's kind of finicky, all those things. So you gotta stay to the standard that have been made for television. Actually, I have 19 standard, if I do remember correctly, and so 720p have to be 60 frames per second on television.
Yeah, the broadcasters I have seen their delivery specs for, they generally want things delivered in 60i now. They don't want 60p even. They want like 720 or 1080 60p, and then you just like DNX HD or something. So even if the format, like the actual content's not in 60, they just want it in that format, probably for legacy and stuff like you're talking about here.
Yeah,
because
usually when
if I do remember, even the Blu-ray are not.
Channels are not.
Blu-ray is not 60p. Come again? Sorry.
Sub channels. So like when they're transmitting that on sub channels on satellite, well, not, but on TV, like the sub channels. For example, MeTV has the master feed on 101 West, and it's fairly high bit rate. I don't know if it's 720p, but it might even be 1080 for MeTV, which shows all old shows. But in some markets, like my market, the quality is awful for MeTV, and antenna TV is not the greatest either. It's basically looks like the quality of this stream right now. It's maybe this stream's a little bit better picture quality than the way they put out antenna TV.
Wow, that's bad.
Well, what
they're fitting 8 channels on the same ATSC 1 carrier as well.
Yeah,
they haven't gone to ATSC 3 yet. At least for that channel, because that's a new channel. That's a new NBC affiliate out of Watertown.
Someone keeps bugging about your intro music. It's getting annoying to a lot of the viewers.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think. I was trying to think about this. I play Root at the end, which you can find it in the YouTube. If you just type it into YouTube, you'll find it. What's the reggae tune that I play? I forget. I think I have it in one of my. It's one of those things where you didn't have to acknowledge the copyright in YouTube.
Okay.
Kevin McClard, he wants to be always like, he'll give his music away for free as long as you give him a free acknowledgement that you used his content. It's one of these. If you go to the YouTube sound library, there's a ton of music that you can use in your videos that you won't get a copyright strike in.
I actually use. I don't want to say. I use another place that has royalty-free music that is really interesting for YouTube.
Yeah.
But,
and I just try to move away from
song on this.
I try to move away from using music as much, because who knows if that music were to change, or say Sony were to buy it and say we own all this now or something like that, and then everything you've made now has a copyright strike on it or something like that, right?
I don't know. I don't think the company I'm talking about will probably sell to a big company like that. I don't say, or not company, the community I'm talking about, not company.
I'll have to get the link from you, because I like using synthwave music in my videos, and it's the YouTube doesn't have the greatest amount of synthwave music that you can use. And a lot of video editors, for whatever reason, they either use synthwave or instrumental music that they can use in their videos.
I like instrumentals.
I want to say otherwise.
Yeah.
So Robbie, do you treat your dish with anything? I mean, do you wax it or put anything on it to help with snow or anything like that?
So I got a video coming about that. I just got this week. I bought some Pam cooking spray, and I sprayed it on my Shaw Direct dish because the snow is coming, right? So I was going to show the because I did it on one dish, on the Shaw Direct dish. So we'll get to see if we get some sticky snow. I'll show you guys in a video what that looks like. It didn't affect the signal whatsoever. I sprayed Pam cooking spray on the dish. I sprayed it onto the LNB, because snow gets on the LNB too, right? And I go out there with a broom and I clean it off to get the signal back, especially if KU band. C band, you can get quite a lot of snow on that dish before it will stop it. Like, I probably had about 2 feet of snow on the ground. Like, it was all packed on top of the dish. I had to go out with a broom, and it actually did stop the signal on C-band.
It probably depends on the amount of water you got on your snow.
Yeah.
Snow.
It was a big wet snow day. Like, most days, I never have to brush off the C-band dish.
Oh, I do a lot of this.
I get a big floor broom that I bought from the dollar store. It's great. I go out there because I use that for I have a van, so I just use that for the van. Because you get the roof, get all the snow off the roof. Instead of one of those snow brushes, I just use a big floor broom.
We have a Dollar Tree, but it really now is a $1.25 tree.
Oh yeah, we went Christmas shopping today, and I went with my daughter. We bought one thing from Dollarama. We didn't even bother going to Dollar Tree because I've heard that Dollar Trees doesn't really have much there, like for gifts, like kids' toy gifts, I guess.
He said on the news, Dollar Tree said on the news that they will no longer make a price at $1, but $1.25.
Oh yeah, we ended up going to Giant Tiger, Canadian. Do you have Giant Tiger in Newfoundland, Trevor?
No, but there is one being put here in the next couple months. What I've been reading.
Giant Tiger, you said? Hey, we have that in Quebec. Giant Tiger, yes.
Or Tiger Giant is in Quebec?
Oh, Tigre Géant. In Quebec, it's called Tigre Géant.
Right, send the information you want.
The yellow sign, black letters, is it right? Is it yellow black letters?
It has the picture of I'll pull it up here. I love Giant Tiger. It's like kind of like a regional store that we have in Ontario. And the funny thing is, if you ever watch WPBS, they have commercials in New York for Giant Tiger.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was a French thing. Okay.
Oh, here we go. I'll pull it up here. Yeah, so I just Googled it here. There's Giant Tiger there. There's the logo. The stores typically have that big yellow font, and yeah, just and then Carleton Place, we had a giant tiger. Small towns in Canada, like in Ontario, and Quebec would have like a giant tiger. It's kind of like the bag milk thing for Ontario and Quebec. We have our milk in bags.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And the funny thing is, I saw a giant tiger. There was a clear TV antenna there, and I did a review on it before, one of those flat TV antennas, and I'm like, oh. And in my town, it's like you'll get maybe, if you're lucky, one channel on one of those things. You have to, but if you have a good rooftop antenna, you can get about 20 to 30 channels, depending on the weather.
I do have a rooftop that is I do have a rooftop made of iron. You know, the kind of steel. I wonder if I can make an antenna of my roof. Do you think? I just put a cable on it and we'll make a great antenna, maybe.
On like a metal roof?
Yeah, I have a metal roof. What I want to say, sorry.
Yeah.
I wonder if I just put alligator cable on it, it will make a great antenna or not. I'm not sure about it.
Well, right now I'm looking at, actually it came up, I just did a Google search, but the Televis antenna, the one that I'd want is probably the, I don't know if that's the big one. I'd want to get the big Televis antenna, because if I ever were to change my rooftop antenna, I'd probably go with one of these. They look like they're what I need for my area, because I need something that can get the channels that are about 80 miles out, but they still come in good. And
did Antenna Man do a review on this one or something that looked like this?
Yeah, it seemed like Antenna Man highly recommended these ones from his reviews. It actually had a few cool features that I liked about them. Is there's I don't know if I could show you here, if it will have it on there. It actually has an amplifier, but it has a pass through. So if the power is out on your antenna, you can still use your antenna if the power is out. So you don't have to run an amplifier all the time. And the reason for why
the only thing I remember.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah, the only thing I remember from an antenna guy is that every antenna he review is crap. So
he does a lot of crap antennas, but like, and it's funny how he goes through them all. And he was an antenna installer, and then he has these crap antennas, and he won't even install those antennas. So he must have, like, I don't know if he just throws them out or whatever, with all those crap antennas that he has, like the junky ones he tells people not to buy. He buys a bunch of them and breaks them. Yeah, this is definitely an antenna I'd like to get. And I think if I switched antennas, because the antenna I'm using now is like, it's probably about that big. It's not a big antenna, but actually I get a lot of channels with it. And but the thing is, in the wintertime, I lose a lot of channels because of the weather conditions. So this might make my reception of Syracuse channels a little bit better in the other times of years.
Do you use the flat round, the round dish?
What's that?
I thought you had a round dish at one time, like a.
Oh yeah,
like
that's what
saucer.
I'm using. Yeah, it's like one of those saucer ones. It's actually a 360 antenna, not that antenna, but it's a 360 antenna. It's an Antenna Craft. I haven't seen that brand out as much as I used to. And it has like an amplifier built into it. It's probably a cheaper amplifier. It's probably not the best antenna, but it's lasted me for. I've lived here at this house for 10 years now. And I've had it for 10 years, and I've had it a couple of years before because I used to have it on my apartment balcony. The reason why I bought it is I wanted to have an outdoor antenna that wasn't too big, but it was still an outdoor antenna that I could put on an apartment balcony. So I'm just keeping it because it still works. It hasn't broke yet, so it still does what I need it to do. But if it were to die, because I think it will eventually, because of the power, it's a cheap power supply and all that, I'll just upgrade to a Televis antenna. I'll do a review on it, and I guess it'll be a very honest review because they won't be sending me one. I actually asked them, but they never responded to me. Or anyway, but it seems like they're except for the fact that they got to be this ugly yellow color on the antenna. whatever that thing is there.
Yeah, why there's always some color on this. I don't know why.
I guess it's their brand or whatever. Or it's a company from Spain, so maybe it's something like their dishes are like that too. If you go to the Telvis website, they have like these orangish yellow satellite dishes, because that's another thing they do make. They do make KU band dishes for a lot of the Europe and Africa parts of the world where KU band is actually popular.
Yeah, the orange LNBs are they're maybe there's a lot of orange LNB also, if I remember.
Oh yeah, the I got it out on my dish right now. One of those orange LMBs, the universal LMBs.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and that's the problem I'm having with this program I'm trying to use is using with a universal LMB. It does not like any of my universal LMBs. I'm with this DVB Dream. I have no problem with my standard LMBs, but the universal LMBs, I tried all sorts of different configurations and I can't seem to get it to work. I get it to work on any other satellite receiver except for the computer one. And what I'd like to be able to figure out is how to get this to work in Linux, but I haven't been able to do that yet. I've installed the driver, and I've used this program in Linux called Caffeine, Caffeine, but with a K. I don't know if you've used that program, Vincent.
I have not. No.
Oh yeah, it's actually pretty good because I like playing around with what I can, like any AV stuff that I can do in Linux. I will try to play around with. I did a review on it, and what it is, if you have like one of these things, an like a TV tuner card, USB to TV tuner. So this will work in Linux with the program Caffeine, and all simply you got to do is scan in your channels, and you can start watching TV with one of these. Very simple.
Nice.
No driver. There's really no driver to install. I think I just restarted the computer. It worked. And I was able to watch at least ATSC TV, but I haven't been able to watch satellite TV, which is DVB.
That's pretty cool. You can do that. I'm not really as much into the TV side on Linux as some people are like you. It seems interesting, but I just rather watch it somebody else demo it. For one thing, in my area, the ATSC reception, we used to have this big RCA antenna with both VHF and UHF. I would say reasonable support, but there's just not that much channels here. I mean, we got everything that was in the market, but that was in range realistically based on what I seen online, but we only got like a couple channels. And honestly, other than the local PBS affiliate and the local news station, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Nothing else really made me interested.
I guess it depends on your area too. Like I like the classic TV stuff. A lot of that stuff's pretty good if you can get a lot of that, and sometimes there's a lot of that. There's like the Laugh channel. There's just a whole whack of the digital sub channels, but it all depends on your area. I'm surprised your area doesn't have more of that. There's no big city near where you're at, or it's more of a smaller.
No, I'm in a very rural community. That's probably why. I'm sure if I was in like Lexington, Kentucky, Trevor knows this. He's going, yes. The population of my town, just to give you an idea, in the last census was about 10,000 people. So it's we're small.
Yeah. So is your radio station I think it's like volunteer, like community station?
What radio station?
Well, you had a video there from a while back. I don't know. Where you're on the radio.
Oh, you're talking about East Kentucky Indie Radio, my internet radio station? Yeah, I got to get rid of that. Nobody listened to it.
Okay.
I'd see a couple people listen to it, and I'm like, I'm paying all this money for licensing, talking about licensing, for like 3 people to listen to it. And one of them was probably me every once in a while, just making sure, we're still on the air. Okay, good. So
you weren't on the air?
So I do some community radio out of Lexington, Kentucky, and I'm on the air there. But as far as like my East Kentucky Indie Radio, that's not on the air. Now, that being said, if someone wants to get the FCC on the phone and we can make some adjustments to that, we can bring it back. I think in this area, it would have probably been better if it had been on the air, because I was trying to get people to volunteer, and it's like nobody seemed to really have an interest. I think if it was on the air, it would be a little easier to say, come on, don't you want to be able to turn on your car radio and hear the recording of you?
So how hard would it be for you, like in a small town, which doesn't have a lot of media, to get a radio station up and going? Like, has the FCC got a lot of red tape or would it?
So
Something like that could be crowdfunded to get like a group that would. We've had that here in Canada. We've had Amherst Island Radio, or now they're calling themselves Island Radio, and they were a low power station, and then now they got a broadcast tower, and I can hear them all the time. They play oldies. They have local radio show. It's better than the commercial radio stations, in my opinion.
yeah, sometimes community radio can be. And so that's part of my day job is building stuff for radio stations. And some of the radio stations I've dealt with before, we've discussed like some of the red tape. And there is, for one thing, if it's a low power FM, you have to actually wait for a period when that they take submissions. So they only do that every once in a while, the FCC does. And there is fees. You got to spend money on a transmitter and antennas. And one radio station I was talking to the manager of, which one of the stations that I deal with regularly, the manager was telling me that by the time that they had turned everything in and, they had got all the paperwork and they have to form a board and all this stuff, we're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars. So I'm not saying you couldn't crowdfund it, but the red tape, I mean, the lawyers alone will, cost you, from the sound of it. So, yeah. And then their transmitter was a couple $1,000s from what I was told. Yada, 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 You get where this is going. It's expensive.
I'm trying to figure out how much a month for the hydro of an FM radio, like a full power FM radio station would cost. I just kind of did a quick Google search. How much does it cost for a radio
station? It's about $40,000 a month.
40,000. Says here, campus station US is about 20,000.
Back in the 90s, here in Quebec, it was because I know I didn't know a owner of a FM station here, a major FM station that was broadcasting at high power, and he told me back in the late 90s, early 2000, when he was the head of the radio station at the time, that it was costing about from $40,000 Canadian for per month for broadcasting.
It's always when I buy
So
like a
can
big
give you
Lotto stick for $50 million jackpot or something like that. I think, what would anyone want with all that kind of money? I'm thinking, I know what I'd do with that kind of money.
You'd start a radio station.
Radio, TV, yeah, bunch of stuff.
Yeah. I would personally go with radio. I like radio as a format better, but there's advantages to both, of course.
Yeah.
One thing I thought was really interesting about the U.S. is, now I don't have the evidence to pull this up, but from what I've heard, it used to be cheaper to run a radio station in the U.S. decades ago, and the prices have went up of licensing and stuff. I haven't even fact checked that, so that may not be true, but it wouldn't surprise me. Everything else keeps going up, right? Milk costs more now than it did 20 years ago, or whatever, So,
and then I guess the cost of just doing a live stream is a lot cheaper than having it. We have a local news Facebook group, predominantly Facebook, but they're like on Twitter, but basically their base is on Facebook for local news, and they're like 40,000 followers for a small community, and they're probably doing better numbers than the local TV station, because the local TV station is corporate, so we're not getting as much local news. We're getting a lot of the big city news piped into us, so a lot of people are just sort of losing interest in what used to be a local TV station. So for the local news, it was great, but now it's like it's gone really downhill. It's global now, so it's gone downhill. Before it was like an independent TV station. We're like, it was like an affiliate, kind of like what you have in the States, where it was a CBC affiliate and then it was CTV affiliate, which is okay, and then it became a global affiliate, and it's like it just went downhill.
Yeah, I know kind of what that's like. We have a local news station here that they pipe in. It's not, they have local news, but then they do, CBS News the next hour. So it's like you get an hour of local news, and you get an hour of news from, out in New York. And
is it next? I'm not really much.
Neither. It's actually owned by Gray Television.
Oh, okay.
As a company, they don't really seem that bad. I mean, our local station, WYMT, is okay. It's just, I don't really care much for television news, for one thing. It's always sad, like they never talk about anything good that happens in the community. They do like one happy story in an hour broadcast. It's like, if I wanted to cry, I could go turn on a drama.
That's kind of one thing I do like about satellite is, and I like watching the local newscasts. So like I'll watch local newscasts from different areas around the country, but sometimes you'll see the same thing that you'll see on all the other newscasts. And
Yeah.
it's just somewhat different, but very similar.
Yeah. The
Same
same
news, different
information.
actors.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Internet radio.
to make it just kind of local.
Now, can you do an online radio station, or do you run into a lot of copyright issues when you're using a lot of music, or is it easier than doing like a YouTube channel with music when you're running that?
So the radio station, the music was fully licensed. So I went to a company called Live 365. I don't know if I should really say their name on here or not. They didn't pay me to say this. I don't particularly necessarily even like the company that much anyway, so it wouldn't be a good ad. But if they did, you pay them and they do the stream hosting, and then that bundles in with the licensing. So I think it was like $40 a month US, something like that. And then you was able to play music, but you have to push the metadata down the line of what song's playing, so that way they know, oh, you're playing, for example, Rick Astley, right? Like you were talking about earlier, you had on your phone or whatever. So I never ran into any licensing issues. My issue was I paid for licensing and no one listened. So
how much would pay for licensing cost? Would you?
Well, so that was the reason I went with them, because I actually called up the rights agencies, as crazy as that sounds, just to try and see, if I did this my way, because I'm a server guy. I'm like, I can run my own server. Why do I need to use Live 365 or whatever? Well, then I realized that the licensing, the way they break it up, is so much less crazy that I can actually stand it. So just to give you an idea, one of the rights agencies in the U.S., I won't say which one, but one of them, there's several, and you have to license from all of them. One of them, okay, was $500 for the minimum licensing payment. That was the minimum. And, that's a lot of money compared to, okay, we start with Live 365 and they cover all the U.S. royalty stuff for about, $40-$50 a month, So it's like, I kind of did the math and said, well, let's try it that way. So it didn't work out, but it's, I would say don't go to the rights holders directly. It's just
it sounds like the
expensive.
$50 or $60 is a lot better. A lot better than $500 a month, and especially if you're just doing it as a small community or whatever, right? If you were to set up a small community station, and I think a small community even an online community radio station could work as long as you have the right social media backing. It's all about the engagement with your audience, right? And if you had that, it could be done. But also, we're in a world now where you have to have radio online, but also on air. It's like maybe people do listen through their phones, but there's also people that are going to listen on the actual radio, right?
Yeah. Well, in my area, part of the problem that hurt me was their cell service in my town is very spotty, and in a lot of places it's just non-existent, so you couldn't even stream it. The other issue I had for me is you can't get talent. I had a lot of trouble with that, and I am, acquaintances with several different station managers of community radio stations. And from what I've heard, it's pretty normal to have a real struggle to get people on the air. I find that's hard to believe. Like, I guess everyone's not like me. I love to be able to get on the air and say hi, like just throw me a microphone. Let's do it. Everybody else is like, oh, I don't know. It's like, really? You're going to tell me you don't want to,
There's 3 of them in my area too. And I've never actually done a radio show. I used to call into the radio show in Ottawa. A fellow named Tom Green, he had a radio show. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Before he was on MTV, and I used to call him on Friday nights. He did a show called The Midnight Caller, and it was like they had CHUO in Ottawa as a university radio station. But sometimes I like that station a lot better than the commercial stations for the music. But also they had the call-in talk shows, which were a lot of fun. Kind of like this live stream, right, where it's just people would call in and just talk about anything, right?
Yeah. It's the television or the web video version of a talk show, I guess. Yeah. I do like talk shows sometimes, especially like technology focused ones. So we've got some community radio in my area as well. And, it's okay. I don't really like the stuff they play that much. They mostly play rock. I'm like classic rock and stuff like that, I'd be more interested in, or top 40 or something. Which top 40, the commercial stations, there's always a top 40 station, even in my market. So
we have
you know.
we have 2 stations in my town playing Christmas music in the middle of November.
Oh, we have that problem here too. There's only a couple stations I can listen to from the house here on the FM band, and they all play Christmas music this time of year. They start like around, what is it? I would say probably like mid-November, and they go until like
November,
January 3rd.
right after Memorial Day, they start with the Christmas music.
It's not that early, but yeah, it's pretty early, and they don't even play like Christmas music continuously. They'll like play a couple Christmas songs, then play their like normal genre. So we have one that's top 40 station. They'll play a couple top 40 songs, then they'll play a couple Christmas songs, and I guess that's one way to do it.
Whenever I put it on, it's Mariah Carey. It's like,
yep,
yeah,
always got to have her on, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Robbie, is it okay if I give a shameless plug to that one service that's free for 2 weeks?
What's that one? Oh, well, the satellite.
Okay.
Satellite?
And, yes, the Sirius XM. So I was looking. It was a while since I tried to get it on the computer, and I was looking, and then I saw this thing on November 23rd. I'm like, oh, it's free, and I'm like, oh, when did this start? And I look, and I'm like, oh, it started today. And it's good till, well, in the States, it's good till December 6th, which I think is a Monday.
Yeah.
And so I made it one. I don't post too much on Facebook, but I posted that on Facebook, and then I started. Oh, and I checked it out in my wife's car. It's like, oh, sure enough. And I texted her, and then she was watching. She was listening to it's channel 71, the old time Christmas music channel. But there's a lot of other stuff free out there.
Yeah. They have a channel for Beatles and Elvis and everybody. Like, probably a BJ.
Did you check the audio quality on this services? Computer, and it's crap.
The computer I thought was better, but the actual satellite, because the Sirius XM.
Yeah, I mean on the satellite, the computer.
Oh yeah, because I know with Sirius XM they're like using 20-year-old digital audio technology, so everyone was complaining that the quality is really crappy. But I'm like, I like to listen to talk radio. So for talk radio, it does sound really bad. Like it sounds like it's it's not much better than the AM radio quality, because I get one of the AM talk stations. Sirius XM is in free preview mode, and I think it was like this time of year last year, just after Thanksgiving, after American Thanksgiving, that
I think so.
Free preview, and I can get it in my car. My car has a XM tuner in it, so I was checking it out. So even in Canada, it was like it's
I know. I was using it the other day on this thing right here. So.
Okay, yeah. It's,
and if you go to their website, you can listen to this. You say you pick a channel, like say Doctor Radio or whatever, you can listen to this, some of their on-demand stuff. So they're previewing. I think they're previewing everything, although they're not previewing the BBC channel 120 here in the States for whatever reason. But that might just be for rights issues and stuff.
Yeah, streaming rights and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The funny thing is, with the SDR radio thing, you can listen to the SDR radios over the internet. So you can tune any station you want, and it doesn't, I guess, get into the streaming rights stuff. You can listen to AM radio around the country. I forget the name of that site. I'll Google it here. WebSDR.
Yeah, WebSDR. I've used that in the past too.
Yeah.
Those are the same as
I think I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this last stream. I had an SDR up on WebSDR running from my Raspberry Pi, and I submitted it to that, but it never approved me or something.
So if I can get the SDR going here, it's a bunch of, like, this looks like a web page from 1997 or something, but
be careful. You don't want to end up accidentally playing copyrighted content and get your video demonetized.
Yeah. I got the noise from the shortwave. I don't know if you can hear it in the background.
No.
It's looking like Linksat, actually.
I could hear some Morse code here. So yeah, that's WebSDR. I'm just gonna turn it off because it's making a lot of noise.
So some people are just restreaming the channel, or is it?
Well, basically, like with that, you can listen to shortwave radio without a shortwave radio, or you can listen to HF radio. And actually, that sounds a lot better than my HF radio because I have the cheap one. And so sometimes I can listen to the amateur radio discussion stuff with that, and it's all streaming. So I've been playing around, Trevor, with the what was the Windows program? WebSDR?
Oh, SDR Sharp.
SDR Sharp, yeah, there it
Yep.
is there. So yeah, I finally figured it out, and I finally got it working in Windows, because that was one of those things where I can plug the SDR into Linux,
And it just
and
works.
It just works with GQRX, but it doesn't do all the plugins for the digital modes and all that. So the digital modes were like way above my head, so I haven't found an easy setup in Linux where I can just listen to like digital mode radio or HD radio, which is the hybrid analog radio.
There's another form of ring rolling here.
I brought his noise down there. He's just
Oh, sorry. I'll
that's weird. I turned your audio down, but I still hear you. I don't know if you guys can hear Kurt.
I know we can't.
Yeah, we did.
I'm sorry about that. I just muted myself. I'll mute myself again. I was looking for my SDR radio.
Yeah, I got a couple of them
Oh.
here.
I'm gonna show you my radio.
I think mine is currently out in the other room. No, it's right here.
Yeah.
1 sec. Let me mute my mic. So.
And they're cheap. They're like what, $20, maybe.
Yeah, I've got the RTL SDR, I think's what it's called, and it's like $20.
Yeah, one of
And I have an adapter to hook up a regular antenna to it. So I can't remember what they call this connector, but I have that connector to regular coax, or at least North American coax.
Yeah, you can connect that up to a TV antenna.
Yeah, that's what I do, yeah. Right. And it actually
radio.
works quite well.
Yeah.
Another thing I do that I find interesting, I hook up my Rogers line to this, and you can get all of like the radio channels. Like I don't know if Rogers leases their lines out to the radio channels or something, but you can hear the whole FM that's available here on that as well. Whereas when you unplug it, you can't hear anything. So
and it goes to cable. Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah.
So I'm
that
not
would
sure.
be interesting with an SDR. You could hear all that.
Oh yeah, if you go to certain frequency, I believe my modem specifically runs at. I can't remember anyway. It doesn't matter. That's besides the point. You can hear like the modems.
Oh, that was something we did in back the old days. Is for much music to get it in stereo or get TV channels in stereo, you had to get an FM stereo and tune it and connect it up to your cable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the community stations actually launched. They weren't on air, so when they had the local university radio station, they actually were on cable and they weren't on the air, but they would be they would be on cable.
It's nice.
Yep. Okay, here's mine. Here's one of mine.
Yeah, I got the same one that you got, Kurt.
And I also bought the silver one. I can't throw my hands on it quickly. From RDS SDR, whatever it is.
I bought a second down converter, and I bought another MLA. Is it MLA 30 and loop antenna?
Model, this one. What is it? Newelec or Noelec?
Yep, I've seen that one before. Oh, I've seen it online. Yeah.
It's actually not an SDR radio. What it is a DVB T2 tuner modified slightly.
Yeah, well, that's what they all are. It's basically you just plug in a DVB T, a European TV tuner, into any computer, and it will pick up FM radio.
So I got a feeling if I went over to European and I had the appropriate software, I would be able to use the DVB T over there if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm quite more old school than you.
Or you can get an ATSC modulator and then just transmit a HDMI to one of their frequencies, and then tune it with that. Because the HDMI modulators usually do output all the different standards. They do DVB-T and the other ones.
Yeah. But
Robbie,
what's the
have you tried that?
frequency?
Have you
What's
tried
the
that
highest
HD?
frequency you can have on this? You cannot go further than 2 gigahertz, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
I believe this.
Oh,
I can't remember.
what were you asking, Kurt?
Oh, I was wondering, have you tried the? There's a program out there. I played with it once or twice. It allows you to listen to HD radio, FM HD radio.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
with an SDR.
right.
And what's it called? Because I do get one station in this area, at least one that I know of.
I forgot what it's called, but it's on the. There's a link off the main website. I could look it up here. Actually,
I think SDR Sharp with the community plugins has an HD radio decoder plugin built into it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it may. They do have plugins, but I haven't figured out how to get the plugins to work yet. I just played with it last night. Actually, got it working.
Yeah, it's like you have your basic SDR that has your SDR Sharp, which has no plugins, just bare bones basic, and then there's another build of it. Well, it's the same build that comes with a bunch of community plugins.
But I can see in Windows, they could be just like a program that would work with an RTL that bypasses all that and just gets the HD radio stuff, like which would be the digital FM radio tuner.
So what helped you? The form I sent you last night or the night before that helped you get your drivers working for it, or did you find another way?
I got the once I got the drivers working, it started working. It was just a driver. What's the thing they got Windows to find the drivers automatically for you?
DIG or something, or
I thought it was plug and play. Is that not what they call it anymore?
I threw it in the private chat for you, Robbie.
Okay. Oh, thanks.
There's application like Driver Booster, I think, that do a good work on this, but not sure if HDR.
I'm gonna put it over in this thing here.
Yeah, that plugin. Yeah, that plugin I believe comes pre-installed on SDR Sharp with the community plugins, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong about that. I'm gonna have to bring up SDR Sharp and look. Let's see.
So I got a question for you: is the application need to have a specific build, or you can add plugins?
You can add plugins if you want. You can add as many, if you can find plugins that is compatible with whatever version of SDR Sharp you're using. You can add your own plugins, but there's another one that comes with a bunch of community plugins.
That's where I need to find out for GQRX, because there probably is more community plugins. I just haven't figured out where they are for GQRX for the digital modes. Because at least with GQRX, it will tell you the digital mode of, like, it'll tell you the radio station ID, the song that's playing. It has all that. I forget what it's called, but it's one of the digital modes that the information that goes out with an analog signal, where it will still give you some information. It's kind of like what broadcast internet will be like with what's that, ATSC3, where they'll send data. They say it's internet, but really it's just sending data streams over the TV frequencies, which I think that what that it will end up being will be weather and traffic information for the most part.
Northern Coaster? No, they are not QCOM. They're analog, actually. The channels that are showing up on this. If I hook up the coax to my TV that has a ClearCom tuner, I get more channels. I think I get a channel guide and the community access channel and a bunch of music channels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You get usually the community access. You're on Rogers where you're at.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on Kojiko here, and we normally at least get the community, the local community channel, which doesn't really have a whole lot anymore. It's kind of like what Vincent is saying. It used to be before YouTube. There'd be a ton of people that would want to have a community TV channel or a community TV show. But I think when YouTube and all that stuff like that on the internet happened, I think people could just stay at home and do it now. So there's not as much as community TV shows that I remember. But like back in the 90s, it was kind of like a thing that they almost ran the community channel 24/7, or at least all day long with programming. Local.
Sure,
Rami,
yeah,
didn't you change your internet like 3 or 4 months ago or something like that?
I did.
Yeah, you got a
I
better
went
one.
Start. Yeah, I got Start.
How's that all working out?
Well, it works out great now. We're having fun with it. I increased the Restream. I'm paying for Restream. I forget what I'm paying for it. Not much, but it's like an added service. I can have 10 people on the line instead of 5. Gives me a few extra bells and whistles. Records the program. It allows me to upload videos and all that. So I paid for the basic Restream. But I'm not streaming as much as I thought it was going to be, because I work full time now. So I was part time before, so I had like a couple days a week to work on videos and stuff. And now it's like I don't have as much time. I've been working on a video for almost 2 months now, and it's just been one video, and I had to scrap everything I did because it didn't work. Things just weren't working, and start over again. And now I'm back to square one.
Are you paying the same or a little less or more
for the internet for Start.ca?
Yeah.
I'm paying less.
Excellent.
And
you're getting more service. Yeah.
And it's still through the same cable line. So it's like through the Cogeco's cable
I
line.
wanted to know. Still Cogeco, isn't it?
It's using Cogeco's line. So yeah.
Is it Cogeco? Cogeco is used, or it's not Shaw or something? The main line.
No, in Kingston it's Cogeco, and then in Canada the way the cable companies work is part like that.
They're messed up.
Yeah, it's
like here, for example, we got Eastlink, Rogers, and there's a couple other ones.
Yeah, but we don't get like in the same town. You can't pick and choose. I guess you can now with Bell, but it's between Bell and Rogers. But actually, Start does offer TV service, like through a streaming box. You could buy one of their Amazon, and they legally. This is a legit streaming service, not one of those. You buy an Android box and you get like 1,000 channels, but it might only work for a few months, and then you have to find your guy to update it if you can still find them and all that.
And your HBO come from Europe, not from America. So every broadcast you got is in the night.
Speaking of Rogers, I think I mentioned in one of my streams that I was in that I was trying to get a second line installed for work reasons from Rogers, and I finally managed to convince them into installing 2 lines. Finally.
Cable lines or phone lines? Sorry.
Internet lines, because I have my home internet, which is what I'm currently on, and there's a secondary internet, which is for work. Well, not my fiance's work.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned in the stream that I've been trying months to get him to do it, and I eventually talked him into doing that. So now I have 2 modems here from Rogers.
You needed that much more bandwidth, or what? Why did you go for 2?
Number one, the residential internet is in my name, right? Therefore, my fiance can't claim it on his taxes. And we wanted to pay the difference to have commercial class or business class internet. So because where his income, depends on that. If something goes down, we need them to be out within a couple hours. So
it's the guarantee. Is it a designated business line?
Yes, I have my residential line, and then I have another line which is for business class.
Yeah. So that's what I needed. I would need to get. That's when I talked to the satellite uplinker. You need a designated internet line. So I basically is saying I can't use my home internet. So if I were to run a TV channel and stream it out to over the internet to the satellite uplinker to have it on satellite, but I don't have $5,000 a month or $20,000 a month.
Sorry, no, it is not dedicated. It's not. It's not dedicated internet. It is still DOCSIS 3.1, but we are paying for the, I guess you can call it the extended support. It's like an extra like $10 or $20. So if my fiance is working at 2:30 in the morning and the internet goes down, they will be out within a couple hours to fix it. Whereas with my residential line, if the internet goes down, I can call and it might take a week to come out. So that's why we did that. So
I got a question for you. Is this the kind of line, the commercial line that you can fall on your internet on your phone with the same company if you don't have access anymore on your cable. Because Videotron is doing this here. If you lose your internet for some reason, you don't have to pay anything more if you're using your phone. Actually, your internet. Both are providing cable and cellular services, so you can fall on the cellular services. Do you have something like that, or?
No, we don't. The only thing that this package includes is, like I said, is that within hours. They say within 4 hours. Within 4 hours return. Repair rate. That's how they're
Okay.
advertising it. So they will get someone out in 4 hours to fix it. So I assume if they don't, then they will probably credit it or do something about it. But but not like so many people don't need that. But since that is our main income, that depends on our income. If the internet goes down, we don't have an income.
Yeah.
So your main problem was to have commercial services in a place where the address is not designed as a commercial. Is it right? Because here I
Yeah.
cannot have. If I'm not commercial, address is not a commerce, so I cannot have that.
It was a pain.
Is it that? It was a pain.
We fight it for like 3 or 4 months to get it. Like no, like
Oh, wow.
Vincent can date me on actually it's probably been a bit longer, but I was really trying for the past 4 months.
They would have to do that a lot more now because they have to do that now because so many people work from home. And it's like let's hear about people now. It's like they're just working from home now with jobs. Like a lot of the jobs now are like are more geared toward working at home because of the internet. So. But or you could just be at home mining Bitcoin. Who knows? You need a high speed internet line for that.
And another thing that I like about this, now I'm just saying this is another cool thing and another good reason. We actually have network level DDoS protection, not our network on the ISP's end. DDoS protection dedicated to us. So, if you go on Rogers, whatever the website is, you can see what it includes. So
I don't want to support Rogers. If you're in a Rogers territory, get start.ca and
not available here.
Oh,
not available here.
Really?
I tried. It's not available here.
Wow. And you can't get anything but Rogers.
I can get Bell.
No,
Rogers,
but like through the cable line.
That's V Media and Comwave. That's
okay,
the only
Comwave.
ones.
I guess V Media, not Comwave. I don't know. I just heard horror stories of I was going to go with Comwave, and then I read all the business reviews. A lot of bad reviews from the billing department. So I was like, I'm not going to get Comwave. But maybe it's better now. Maybe that was like, when they were first starting out.
Yeah. It's more a classic of Bell Canada, the billing services.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the quality of the billing services is a total mess.
Oh, yeah. They're pretty bad, yeah. They were still charging me for a while, and then they were going to send a collection agency after me and all this. And I was ticked because I kept canceling it, and they still, So I was like done with Bell. I've seen someone where they took the Bell logo and they just removed the Bell and had to have hell.
Hell logo.
I wonder if I can find that on the internet. Google will tell me.
I just wanted to update everybody because you guys were asking. I mentioned to you and I told you I was going to update you if I did get it. So that's why I mentioned it. So.
There it is.
You can show the teaser.
The Hell Canada logo.
Hell Canada logo.
Yeah.
Great
that's
one.
my opinion. That's my opinion of Bell right now. That's my opinion of Bell.
I share your opinion,
I don't never hear anyone say that they love Bell or they love Rogers. And I guess I didn't talk much about the Rogers merger, but there's been more news, like in the mainstream news, about the Bell Shaw merger. And I guess there's some it's interesting going on with Bell right now, or not Bell, with Rogers, because one of the oldest Rogers brothers, son of Ted Rogers, the founder of Rogers, is having a falling out with his siblings, a power struggle over the company. So it's all about them getting the CRTC approval to basically they will buy Shaw. And I've done a video on this before and all that.
Is it the kid that want to buy Shaw or not? What is it exactly?
I'm not sure. I think the corporate wants to buy Shaw, and then basically that would mean in Canada we would just have a monopoly. It would be Bell and Rogers, really, like at least with Shaw.
And Videotron for Quebec,
especially with the satellite. Yeah, Videotron for Quebec. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I think it will benefit some people, and it won't benefit some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's an example of I'm not going to. I know someone that has Shaw, whatever they call their version of whatever it's called anyway. They have little to no features on it. Like I was demoing the last or a couple streams ago. Remember I was showing the Ignite box?
Yeah.
So
that's modern compared to like a Bell satellite box, which is like from 2009 maybe.
In terms of my friend, he wants sport. He loves sports. And as everybody knows, there's one particular company that has the sports monopoly here in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So, and he can't get that on a Shaw line, even though they use the exact same equipment. So I think for people like that, it will benefit them. And other people, they're going to be mad because they left Rogers because they're having issues and they went to Shaw. But some people, it's going to benefit them, in my opinion.
So Robbie, you canceled some service, but they kept charging you or something, or what?
This was years ago. This was like
this was
a long time ago. Like I haven't been with Bell in years. This would be like,
and this was for cable in a different house or something.
This was actually for cell phone service, Bell Mobility. Because Bell in Canada, Bell is like a big telecommunication giant.
Right.
So is Rogers. The two giants really are Bell and Rogers. Bell is like your traditional telephone company. Rogers traditionally was a cable company, and then they moved into internet and all that. And I was with Bell Mobility, and then I left Bell and when I tried to cancel my bill, because I went with at the time it was Fido, and then Fido got bought by Rogers, and Fido was really good, and then they got bought by Rogers, and then it went downhill. So
they wouldn't let you cancel your actual
mobile
on your cell service.
Yeah, my cell service, I canceled it, and I was still getting billed for it for a few months after that. And then I said, I canceled this. I'm not using it. Anyway, it was just that. And then it was like, they were calling me.
It's still the case now.
Yeah.
Were you able to transfer your number, or did you get a new number?
I think in those days, we didn't even have the law for that at that time. That was like, but it was like, I don't know. I only gave out my cell phone number like how I would today to my family and my work, and that's about it.
I thought we always had a lot of port numbers then.
Robbie, I should say that Bell always the invoice services of Bell is always a mess. It will still be for a long time. So that kind of thing can happen to you then. It will probably happen to others even today.
Oh yeah.
Well, after that, I think I hadn't been with a big big corporations for a long time. I was with was it Fido for a bunch of years, and Fido was a good plan. I mean, like for a cell phone back in those days, it was like unlimited incoming calling is one of the gimmicks they used to have, and I like that because I just used it as my regular phone. The unlimited income, I forget what it was. It was like maybe it was $60 a month or something like that. Back in those days.
I'm with Fizz. Anyone know about Fizz?
What's that?
FIZZ, like we say in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Not about the cellular provider is?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know what. No, I have pay as you go. Yeah, see, I got pay as you go. It costs me $100 a year pretty much for pay as you go because I don't do a whole lot of calls. I got a certain amount of texts, and I can do it like I don't go over my limit with texts. I think I did a few times, but then it's like still, if it's $100 for the year, if I don't go over, but if it's under that, I just top up my account. Like if and that could be like if
Do you have a landline too, or just the mobile phone?
Not anymore. We have the UMA phone, which is like a VoIP.
Oh
phone.
yeah, I have the UMA phone too. Yeah,
yeah,
it works well.
Yeah, we just use the UMA phone, and we have cell phones, and most people contact me on Facebook, which I got to get them switched over to Discord.
Well, I mean,
is it the kind
yeah,
of
I use
Magic Jack or what? UMA
What's
phone,
that?
is it
VoIP
the kind of
MS.
Magic Jack?
Yeah,
Come again?
UMA's like a magic jack. Yeah, you would plug it into your router. It's like $4 a month or something like that, and it's. I think I gotta
so
pay.
expensive.
It's
It's
I think
about the
for,
same
like,
price
calling
as
the-
Magic Jack then.
Yeah, it's
So
like
expensive.
So I think the service is free, and they pass through the taxes and stuff like that. At least that's what they do in the
pay
state.
85 cents a month for my VoIP.ms line. Pay per use. 85 cents per month.
yeah. I guess it all depends on how much you use it too. Yeah.
So
And which company's that?
VoIP.ms.
Oh yeah. Should look into that.
You got to bring your own device though,
Yeah.
which you can get an ATA for like $30 on Amazon.
Oh really?
Or for those like me and Trevor that's more technical and wants to have all kinds of fancy
Exactly.
features, you can build like a free PBX or an Asterisk system if you want to go pure Asterisk like I do, and just set up a
don't need
Linux
that.
box in the corner, and there you go. You can have all these fancy IVRs and auto
need to do that,
attendance and
though.
Yeah.
voicemail. Well, you don't
And
have
the rest
to.
of the pleb is using Magic Jack.
Hey, you don't have to do that, but if you're a nerd and you want
Yeah,
to,
I
you can.
know, but it's quite simple, you know.
Yeah.
Google
Some are
Voice is
simple
not
better.
available here in Canada, Leo. You cannot get
Come again?
Google. You cannot get a plan from Google Voice here in Canada.
Oh,
No, you can't. If Google, you cannot get a Google Voice. You can't get a Google Voice number here in Canada.
I surely not
Oh.
cannot transfer my phone number to that.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
even. I tried to get a Google Voice line, and there is no Canadian option on it.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I never tried that before, but yeah, that's what I'm always afraid of. It's like if you were to try to get the YouTube TV in Canada, you wouldn't be able to get it.
Mhm.
It's certain other things that will get blocked in Canada. You can use a VPN at times, but what was the? It's probably blocked now. But I was watching the NBC Peacock thing when they had the free services on that when it was first launching. But then I didn't. I don't really care about the content that was there, so like it was one of those things. I tried it out. Yeah, okay, it works, and then I just left it. Never looked at it again.
So, YouTube television, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well, YouTube had. I think they've. I don't know what they did with it. If they still have it or not. They were basically doing like cable through YouTube, so you pay
They
them
still do.
for yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, they do.
So they would, but they had to raise the rates. Like they started off with the rates much lower, and they were like they were cheaper than all the other competition for the premium cable channels that always tend to be like I don't know, what $60 a month or $80 a month or whatever it is through no matter what service you're using. Even if you're doing internet, which like is cheaper, I guess, to do than satellite, cheaper to do than cable.
I mean, $69 a month. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like that's what Leo just said. That's ridiculous for not like. I pay that much for my internet and cable, so $69 a month. Is,
$69 a month for what? 69 channels at 65 of them. You're not even going to watch hardly. You know, like
that is
That's
ridiculous.
compared to people tend to pay here. I think most people here, if the Deotron for their cellular phone, their home IP phone from them, and cable and all those stuff, they pay about $230 a month for that. So
That's because people don't call the
people-
loyalty department.
no, they're
oh
not
yeah, there is
so wealthy.
And I've had friends like that, and they say, "No, I never call. I just take that." You know, it's like almost
Yeah,
like
never
a stubbornness
call,
or
but
something. You know.
Oh, yeah.
I have a
Speaking of
friend like
somebody,
that with
oh, sorry.
yeah, I have a friend like that with Bell. He used a big channel and all the stuff. He's really loaded with stuff, and he tell me that it's not cheap at $130 a bit, and I tell him, dude, when you think about it, when it costs a fraction of your of what it costs you to stay somewhere, you gotta ask yourself some question about your value and your priorities when you pay $200 for communication. At that point, you have some question to ask yourself, even if you're in
Well,
Canada.
you know what? I did have cable back in like 2004 or 5, and it was like $20 a month back then. And that was a deal. That was like to try to get you on, because like I lived alone in an apartment. Why would I pay $200 extra, you know, to watch a few hours of TV a week or whatever, right? But they gave me everything for like $20 a month for the first couple months, and then for first 6 months, and then they started taking away I think for a few months they would give you everything, and then they would take away channels. Like, okay, try this out and all that, and then after that, I got to experience all the channels and played around with it for a bit. But I figured I'm not going to pay $200 a month once they raise the prices up.
That's the thing. I make it a point to call them every 6 months to get a better price. Even though my deal is for a year, I usually call them every 6 months to get a better price, and they always give me a better price. So
yeah, that's what you got to do with them.
like,
and also,
that's the point. Okay, C-band dish.
Yeah, but if you
After
can,
all.
I mean, it's like, and also with a KU band dishes, like with Bell and Shaw, you can always play them against each other. Where if you have a Bell and a Shaw dish installed on your house, you can always go back to one or the other. But if Rogers buys Shaw, then it could end up being bad for the consumer, right? You won't have the options to for TV. I mean, I don't care. I don't have any of them. I just watch the antenna, and I'm happy with that.
So both of them have their own satellites up there? Both companies?
Yeah.
So in Canada, we have 2 satellite companies. There's Bell, which has satellite, and there's Shaw. Shaw's the one that will work with free satellite TV. The KU band dishes have a linear LNB on them. So if you leave your Shaw account,
And Bell was the first, right? And then Shaw came along? Or how did it?
I'm not sure.
No, actually, it was Star Choice, I think.
Star Choice was first in Canada?
Oh, yeah, Star Choice.
Yeah, I think with the big round 30-inch dish, and they were actually still somehow actually using the 4DT technology back then, and now the stream, the actual payload changed, but the technology under the horizontal and vertical stuff and all those things were the same as still the same as back then. So they were the first, and their first receiver were actually the DSR 922, which was readjusted C-band dish actually. So the C-band dish back in the day. So
yeah, Star Choice
Shaw Direct,
was founded.
I think they were the first.
So it was Star Choice to start, and then it became Shaw Direct, and it was started in 1996 as Star Choice, and I think they were before Bell. Well, it was ExpressView when Bell first launched. So Bell Express.
Bell is using the Dish Network technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they use the basically this is a Dish Network dish, and Bell dish will work like on the same.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Bell TV was founded in 1997. So I guess Star Choice had a year ahead of Bell, but then and there's a picture of their dishes there, the Bell dish.
Yep.
The circular KU band dish, which will not get you free satellite TV channels on those things. Most of the channels
useless for anything but Bell or Dish. Useless for anything but Bell or Dish. So.
You may be able to get
Mhm.
CNN on one.
Yeah, there was talk. Yes, I read something about that.
Yeah, something like that.
And wasn't there for a time
But
that 6-in-1
nobody
channel or
listen.
something like that?
And I'm not getting political or anything, but CNN, the amount of news channels that there is now, and everyone might have their side, right? CNN is on the woke side, and you got Fox News on the right side. But they said Ted Turner was crazy back in the early 80s. Why would anyone want a 24/7 news channel? But then Ted Turner had the idea. He said this in interviews. I'm usually busy at 6 o'clock, so like I'd like to be able to put the news on during the daytime or early in the morning and see what's going on. He liked that idea of having a 24/7 news channel, and I guess it caught on because now I think there's more news for the themes. I think there's more news channels than there are sports channels or anything else, because anyone could start a news channel. And on satellite, I'm almost at the point where we could say there is just as many news channels as there is religious channels at this point. Or it seems to be the news channels are catching up to the religious channels.
Yeah, they're catching up, but they're not quite there from what I can see.
Well, there's
from
religious
here.
news channels as well. Like there's CBN.
Yeah.
News and,
Yeah, if you count them and you oppose
so
them,
they're catching. They're double barreling it on that one, I guess. Yeah.
I got to play with my 6-foot and
So
get
the-
the CTV tomorrow. See how that's working.
On 110, I believe, right?
They moved. They went from 107 to 113. I have to go look it up.
I'll look it up here for you. I do know where it is because I was looking at it recently.
I think they did move. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're on C-band, so you'll need a large dish to get it. But
yeah, I was doing a little bit better on the 107, but then that went through. I forget how many months ago this year, but
Canada.
Okay, I have to confess, I did not use my dish for 4 months right now because I was editing day and night, so I didn't touch my dish for since I think the spring. So make sure to try again.
119.
Yeah, and someone wrote that in the chat. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's there. Yeah. Kevin. Yeah, Kevin knows where he's. Kevin actually likes the 119 channel. So the thing about that is,
Kevin, I know him.
Yeah.
I talked to him. He's great.
Yeah. He's on the forums and stuff. I wonder if I think he's on Discord as well. We got to start maybe using the Discord more. I did create on the Discord server a feed section. So if you see a feed and you want to report it, you can report it up on the on Discord. I just threw up the wrestling feed, which is up there every Monday and Friday. And someone was saying that the feeds are down from what they used to see. I don't really do as much feed hunting at this point as I used to. But
something about that work getting in the way.
Yeah, exactly. And kids.
Yeah.
That's so yeah. Here's all the CTV channels that are on. They're all in HD on 119 West. So there's the CTV Edmonton.
They're harder
Calgary,
to get
Ottawa,
than the weather than the other. There's. I just had that.
The weather, yes, with a 6-foot dish. Yeah, the weather channel, which is like, how many weather channels do they need? That's the same channel.
Well, they used to. I think they used to. Yeah, they had more when they were on 107. They pared back a little bit, but yeah, they still got a fair amount of them.
Yeah, they got a bunch of the weather channels, and then the French weather channel, and then the HD weather channel. Radio France International. They used to have the
French isn't it?
No, they don't have French CBC on this satellite. Oh yeah, there's another. If you have a 119, that is circular KU band. So if you do have one of the circular KU band dishes like the Bell or Shaw Direct dishes, you apparently, according to this chart, you can get CNN USA on this frequency here.
That's weird.
It's in the clear.
They never do
or
that.
Was I with my universal LNB, I thought I picked it up on that satellite before with my 36-inch dish.
Does Linkside say the same thing, or is it the same on
Linsat doesn't list
Linkside?
it.
Linksat doesn't list it.
Oh,
So
it
what
does
I
list
find,
it. It is
okay, it does.
listed.
So
Yeah.
here's what happens with Linksat and with TVROSat.com. Sometimes they'll report a channel being there, but they won't report that it's gone. So it'll stay up there for a while after it's gone. I see that here with, I don't know if I can bring this chart up again or not. I'll go to a channel that was up for like a day. And it's up on the chart still because it was up there for one day and it got reported. So everyone's looking for it, and I was looking for it, and then when I scanned it in, it wasn't there. What was it again? It was at the Orbi TV set. There we go. It says Mexico, but the reason why it says Mexico for the Orbi TV set is it's just because there's a bunch of channels out of Mexico on C-band on that side. So if you speak Spanish, you're looking for Spanish channels. There's a ton of them here. If you have a C-band dish. I think it's going to scroll down. So this one here, One American News, it was up there a few days ago and it's gone already. Maybe it'll be back and there'll be other channels on here. It seems to be they are adding channels to this. I guess if they're going with the H.265, they've been able to fit 40 on there with Orbi TV. Now BYU TV, I'm using a Shaw Direct dish that I repurposed for free satellite TV. I can't pick that one up. I might be able to pick it up with my larger dish. It just must be a weaker signal.
There's two sides for there's two dish size for Shaw Direct. Which one?
I have the 60E.
60. Okay, so the small one. Okay.
Yeah, the smaller one. Yeah.
I wonder if you can do something with the bigger one, but the bigger one have big mass to hold it, so it's a mess.
In Ontario, you're more likely you're gonna find the 60Es. I've seen a few of the 75s.
I have a 75 because that's all you can get here.
That's all you can get in Newfoundland. Yeah, you're further up north, so you'll need it.
Oh, okay. You're way further than me, I think, because we tend
and then when it comes to
there are few 75, but not that much.
Yeah, when it comes to the shipping cost, I would say just go on eBay and get one of those. Not a 90 centimeter, but a 36-inch. What would that be?
36 things. 90 centimeters, I think.
Maybe it is 90 centimeters. Yeah, 36-inch dish, or even. It's a few bucks extra, but it's worth it. Is to get the 39-inch dish. There's a lot of them on eBay, but they don't sell the LNB. And so what I've seen with eBay is they have like full free-to-air systems, but then they'll have a receiver that's way out of date, and it won't get any HD channels, no HDMI output or whatever. And it's like you better just to buy a more modern receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 39. It was a thing 39-inch for Ku-band, and you can still use the same LNBs on those. Is it right?
Yeah. I'll pull up eBay here.
That sounds like a meter.
Ah, okay.
Close.
I forgot the exact
meter,
After all, big on conversion. Some things I measure it, and then other things in metrics. And I
actually have.
I don't know my weight.
Yeah, if you let's pull up. This is a video live stream right now. If you go to the description here, I have some links for eBay dishes. Here's the 39 on eBay, if they're still in stock. So they're US $119 for the 39, and no, they're a little bit bigger. But they're kind of the ones I would recommend if you're going to get one on eBay. And but they don't have an LNB, but you can just LNB is like a few extra bucks, but you'll have a much better dish, especially for a motor and all that. If you want to get like NBC or InfoWars or some of those channels, you might want like a slightly larger dish to pick those up.
Yeah, because
and they're all
here InfoWars is always bring up
Yeah, I get it on my 4-footer.
Yeah, I get it. I did try to get it on a 10-footer, but like you may expect, at footers, it's maybe not that good. Not much better than 39-inch, from what I understand.
Well, I have to
So
see if InfoWars is still on shortwave.
I imagine they would be. I don't listen.
That's a
Usually
great
when I listen to
question.
12, the daytime frequency for WWCR, 12 something. And that's usually the voice that comes booming in over the shortwave radio. This is my biggest broadcast ever. I'm breaking news. This is bigger than Bohemian Grove. This is bigger than 9/11. This is bigger.
Did you saw the Tim Cassie, the podcast with Tim Cassie? He had Alex Jones with the guy with the other guy, all well known, right inside the same RV. It was quite funny. Everyone was talking over the other. It
I
was
would imagine, yeah.
Alex Jones with the other guy, the wrestler guy. Which is his name?
Oh, yeah, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan. There was Joe Rogan, the guy, and there was also the guy from the guy who made the documentary about 9/11. Where I Changed, the guy from Where I Changed, and all those big head was talking over each other, and all in a smaller RV, so it's kind of weird, but it was epic somehow. So it was last week, or a great podcast it was a great podcast, but I don't remember which day it was actually.
And for so yeah, I got my web open web IF. Now the nice thing with the this is the Z-Gamma receiver. It has the web interface. So what I like about that is you can pull up the stream and watch it live. I don't know if I want to put that channel on, or YouTube might not like that one. I'll put up RT. They seem to be friendly for copy stuff and all that. So it pulls up the stream. It'll just play in a VLC. I haven't used VLC in this.
Which receiver is this? Is this your...
No, this is actually the Z-Gamma. So what it does is it just streams it over... Let's do an update. So it will stream it to...
VLC?
To your computer. Yeah, you can stream it to VLC. There's Max Kaiser.
Obviously. Wow, you
Yeah.
changed a lot from years ago.
Oh yeah, he's old too. Eh? Like he's like, I don't know how old he is. He's like
He kind of old, but sorry to put it this way. He kind of look gay on this. I'm not sure about his.
Anyway, that's Windows decided to update VLC on me, so so that's how it is. You can pull up TV channels and watch them off the web interface. So the cool thing about that, the web interface, is you can change the channels for this. So if you lose the remote control or whatever, you can still.
So the Z-Gamma is a box or something, or what?
Yeah, it's a satellite receiver. It's like kind of my older one. It's basically what the Edison Mayo is. Except
Oh,
it's
the
like
Z-Gamma
version.
H7?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see it. Yeah, I see it out on the internet.
Yeah, and it's an older one. It's out of they're not producing them anymore. Now it's the Edison Mayos, or like a few bells and whistles. But the thing I liked about the Z-Gamma is it had a spot for a laptop hard drive. So if you wanted to use it as a PVR, you can slide in a hard drive to it and PVR your shows and all that. Like most receivers, but it was like a slot. You could take a internal hard drive, not an external, and put it in there.
Okay,
so there,
instead of a USB.
yeah.
Okay.
And another thing is it worked as a web, not a web, but a network hard drive. So like I can access the hard drive over the network and just put files on it or whatever. So
That's cool.
A NAS
Anyway,
drive.
I gotta go because my fiance got to work. It's currently 12 a.m. here. My fiance got to work early tomorrow, and I'm in the room, so I'm gonna have to go. So
yeah,
we can,
I think I'm gonna close this off a little bit earlier tonight instead of going for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I'll stay on there when I close the stream there for a few minutes, but yeah, I'm just gonna shut it down for tonight. 2 hours is long enough, I guess. And yeah, I gotta get up early and set up a live stream for my church. So I'll talk to you guys another time. I'd probably not do. I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. I'll put a notice out when I do my next stream, and I'll talk to you guys next time. So thanks for joining in, guys, and we'll see you later. I'm gonna end the stream now.
Goodbye.